Alrighty, so this is game 2, RedDragon Haymaker. This is a second round matchup, and we saw in the first round that Haymaker was able to get the better of RedDragon with just beastie macro and just churning out units all game long. So let me introduce the players. RedDragon here in the top left, this map, this is Boardwalk, and Haymaker in the top right playing Terran. It's a strange map, this. You have this very long path down to the bottom that you can, you've got a gold base down here. At the top, past your ramp, you can come through the middle, but you've got these weird sort of setups here. I don't really know what those are. Yeah, it's just a weird map. I have not yet played a game on this map myself, so I don't really know what type of thing it is. This worker down here looks suspiciously like he is going to drop and expand down here in the gold base, and that is a sneaky tactic that might well pay off. Looks like RedDragon is saving up for that, so once this gets above 400 we should see that Nexus come down. There it is. So this gold base is going to mean that he is going to have a furious mineral income very early in this game. With that early expo and additionally with it being a gold expo, he is going to have quite the income from that. So I wonder, has he got a plan overall, or is he just thinking, I'm going to have lots of money and that can't be a bad thing, which is fine. So yeah, let's see how that pans out. If Haymaker doesn't find out about this, he could be in quite a lot of trouble, because the extra income will be significant, so long as RedDragon can turn that extra income into good stuff, you know, which, to be honest, isn't that hard to do. His Protoss units are expensive. So what I expect to see, this turret, look at that, at the 2-minute mark, this nice early turret. Haymaker not taking any chances. Very sensible. Oracles can appear early these days. One thing I would say is, you know, playing against the Protoss these days with those early Oracles, it is worth sending your scouting worker around these areas, around here. Have a look down here. You know, is there a pylon? Is there going to be a Stargate to get us super early? Oh, he transfers all the workers to the gold. What a play. Fair enough, RedDragon. So we are going to see his mineral income absolutely skyrocket. Look what's going. This is very low because of the worker transfer, but we are quickly going to see this increase, and it'll continue to increase now that he's going to be able to build workers 2 at a time. No gas income yet though, but you know, this is pretty substantial. You can see that the Terran income isn't too shabby either, but that is in no small part due to this mule that has been dropped. So once the mule expires, this will drop back down quite substantially. But look at that income advantage he's got. As these bases get saturated with 4 gas as well, RedDragon is going to find himself in a very good position. So Haymaker needs to find out about this. He needs to do some scouting. Alternatively, he needs to get some pressure on early, otherwise he could find himself in a lot of bother. RedDragon, meanwhile, needs to be building the tech structures. Now, at present, he just doesn't have the gas to do that. So I will be interested to see what type of tech he's going to go for. It could be that he's looking to tech up into Skytoss, which is basically to just go ahead and build you know, something like carriers, something expensive. Or it could be that he's just going to try and get 2 bases established and then overwhelm his opponent with money by just being able to outproduce him in terms of units, be able to just build more stuff than your opponent can, and just trade and continue to trade, knowing that you can afford to replace your units while your opponent can't. So the Twilight Council coming down sort of suggests that it is more likely to be a sort of gateway style, so fairly basic units rather than expensive teched up units. And I don't mind that, you know, that's going to work out just fine. This sensor towers are brilliant. Not sure about the position of this one, kind of in the middle of the base. You know, normally common to put it at the edge of the base to sort of expand your the area that you have not quite sight of, but the area that you're detecting, well beyond the area that you can see anyway. But sensor towers are good things. It does mean no sneaky pylon can appear down here without you knowing about it. But I think I'd have probably liked it to maybe be up at the back here so that it could sort of detect anything coming across this area, like warp prisms or anything like that. It would have given you also, it would have encompassed this area then, so you could have seen anything coming through here. But no matter, sensor towers are good things. We can see this tech lab is done, but we haven't yet got the stim and the combat shield upgrades going. And these are important upgrades if you're going to have a marine heavy army. As is this one if you're going to have a marauder heavy army. That concussive shell, very, very effective against things like zealots. Concussive shell essentially means that each shot that marauders do slows down the units that it hits. And I think it does a kind of splash effect as well. No, it doesn't. I'm making that up. It slows down the units that it hits. So when you're up against things like charged zealots, as he is going to be up against, that can be a very, very useful thing indeed. So Haymaker doing a fine job of teching up here. I'd like to see these production buildings actually building stuff though. A fair old bank, and look, all of these buildings are actually idle. So while it's commendable how well he has climbed the tech tree, don't forget to turn it into units as well. A few workers just standing about here. I don't know what those are doing. Let's check that income tab again, and you can see that the Terran isn't actually that far behind. Now that mule's expired, you'll probably see this dip a little bit. Yeah, there it is, kind of going down. Oh, but 2 mules on this one. Yeah, that kind of explains why it's sort of more equal than you otherwise might expect. But the Protoss does have the nose in front. Oh my gosh, look at this weird setup here. So if he manages to get through this, then he can cut through this one as well and go on the long walk. And that long walk will take him all the way around here, all the way up here, and right the way in here. And suddenly, contrary to what I said, the position of that sensor tower is going to be absolutely superb. This Liberator could do great things as well, because a liberation zone here, if you see these things coming, liberation zone, siege tank, that could make a huge difference. But he needs to see this coming. Look how many zealots this is. That's a terrifying number of zealots. They've got charge. RedDragon, not sure why you've stopped building things. Is it because you're supply blocked? Well, you're not building a pylon either. It will be supply blocked now, so I want to see these pylons come down. Look how many gateways this is. This is sensible. You need a lot of gateways. You also need some free supply, so don't stop at 1 or 2. Look at the amount of money you've got. Drop 4 pylons, 5 pylons, and drop one here so that you can warp zealots in directly to reinforce. Yep, there we go. Better. It's almost like you can hear me in the past. Is that a thing? Can I actually speak to the past? Have I discovered my superpower? This medevac is going to see what's up, but unfortunately there's nothing in it. What a shame. If this was full of Marines, these would be dead workers. There's no way these zealots are getting back in time. So he sees that this is up. This Liberator is going to go and have a play around in the main. There is nothing, literally nothing here that shoots up. So the liberation zone in this mineral line can be extremely effective. Is sending out these 2 Hellbats. They are going to encounter these zealots. Hellbats are brilliant against zealots. They can do so well, but only if they do actually attack. Oh my goodness, he must know what's up now. You need to be pulling everything home. Get the Liberators home. You need to be moving these units, dude. It all needs to happen. Everything's here. Siege up the siege tank. This is going to be the end. Haymaker cannot hold this. There is no way. Even if these zealots stand idle, I don't think Haymaker can hold this. I like the SimCity here. If he stays in roughly that position, these zealots just can't get surface area on them. So he can actually trade really effectively against these, and is doing. which is absolutely superb, but he has lost all of his mineral lineup in here. Lift these buildings up, well, lift that one up. It can fly, don't lose it to zealots, they can't shoot up. So, you know, if this building was in the air, he would have kept that alive. Liberation Zone needs to come out, but he is going to see this off. The, you know, sort of saved by the layout of these buildings, that is only letting these zealots funnel in one at a time, but the Liberator needs to be in liberation mode, defender mode. It needs to be setting up the liberation zone. You know, the damage it does is absolutely enormous when it's in liberation zone. It will, you know, two-shot these zealots, so that needs to be going on. I'm not sure why these zealots are focusing the racks when they're being shot in the face. And I'm not sure why all these units are in a medevac when they should be killing stuff. So, how are we looking here? You know, eventually Haymaker is going to clean up these zealots, but he's lost the men. He's lost a lot of workers. The income tab is miserable. I don't think he can come back from here. Finally, the liberation zone gets set up and one-shots a single zealot. You know, it's too late. Well, if they walk into the liberation zone, that's superb, yeah. Boom. And he taps out. Haymaker was indeed defeated. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. GG.